FRN.FM from anywhere. The Freedom Fiends radio app is like having a virtual libertarian re-education camp in your pocket. It's your gateway to the exclusive high-demand group that is the Freedom Fiends. Install the Freedom Fiends radio Android app today. It's free, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. And get ready for LibPair with the Freedom Fiends radio app for Android. Worms.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clot.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, May 5th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,283 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $450. Antiwar.com reports Russia's defense ministry has announced its intentions to create 3 new military divisions for its westernmost territory in response to NATO's announcement last week of another 4,000 ground troops to be deployed along the Russian border. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg insists that NATO's deployments were a response to Russia's use of force against Ukraine in 2014, which both happened 2 years ago and has been in a state of ceasefire for well over a year. NATO has used Ukraine as an excuse for repeated buildups along the Russian border, and while Stoltenberg insists that all these troops are purely defensive, Russia is clearly feeling the need to respond after half a dozen such major deployments. Russia has not said where the new troops are to be deployed, but they will likely be in the exclave of Kaliningrad, at least in part, as much of the NATO deployment is along the Polish border with that territory. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice on Wednesday weighed in with a heavy hand on the controversial bathroom bill for transgender persons that was passed by the state of North Carolina earlier this year and may threaten to pull millions of dollars in federal money if the state does not dump the law. After concluding that the controversial measure violates federal anti-discrimination laws, the Justice Department notified North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory in a letter on Wednesday that he has until Monday to abandon the law, according to the Charlotte Observer. The letter states both you and the state of North Carolina are in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Specifically, the state is engaging in a pattern of practice of discrimination against transgendered state employees. Title VII prohibits the discrimination of employees by employers on the basis of sex, and the letter notes that federal courts and administrative agencies have previously applied that provision to cover transgendered workers. When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a federal lawsuit filed on Wednesday revives lingering questions about the bloodshed at Kent State University, a traumatic event in U.S. history that still holds sway over many who lived through it 46 years ago. The lawsuit, filed by Buffalo attorney Michael Kuzma, asked the Federal Bureau of Investigation to release all records about a mysterious figure in the events of May 4th, 1970, when the Ohio National Guard troops shot dead 4 unarmed people and wounded 9 others during a campus protest against the Vietnam War. The deaths inflamed emotions in a country already polarized over the war and left an image seared in the national memory. John Paul Philo's Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph of Marianne Vicchio grieving over the body of victim Jeffrey Miller. The investigation left many who followed the case unsatisfied, and unanswered questions surround a man named Terry Norman. Norman was a student and FBI informant. He carried a handgun and a camera that day, and his precise role has been in dispute ever since. Norman has kept quiet, declining media inquiries over the years. Reuters could not reach him at his last listed telephone number and email address. Howard Means, author of the recently released 67 Shots, Kent State and the End of American Innocence, said Terry Norman is in a sense the second gunman on the grassy knoll. He's been kind of the handy boogeyman or a red herring. The FBI cited privacy protections for not releasing documents about Norman or even confirming that they exist, saying in a statement there would first need to be an overriding public interest among other considerations. Kuzma filed a Freedom of Information Act request last year for all FBI records on Norman, which was denied. Kuzma's lawsuit names the Justice Department, the parent agency of the FBI, as a defendant. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
In an unsettling video released over the web this week, Buddhist extremist cell Kamathana vowed to unleash a massive wave of serenity and nirvana all across the West. Members of the group threatened to implement such severe measures as tranquil chanting, meditation sessions, and eye-opening koans, and assured U.S. leaders of the group's absolute commitment to engulfing Americans in complete and unyielding enlightenment. Here now is a clip from the video.
We will not cease until every city, from New York to London, succumbs to a state of spiritual harmony. Prepare yourself.
Sources confirm that the Pentagon responded to the film by ordering immediate tactical bombings throughout Tibet. And in tech news, the inventor of the Gromdar says he's determined to put a Gromdar in every American home. In other news, a woman who had almost formed a healthy sense of self joined social media, and an area man can remember exactly where he was and what he was doing when he assassinated John F. Kennedy.
This is the Onion News Network.
Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the telephone numbers here momentarily because you can call in about what's on your mind. In studio tonight is Daryl,
Chris, and Conan.
And we're going to start with a story out of Virginia where there was a father that shot a video of himself boxing his 17-year-old son. He posted the video on Facebook, and I wanted to play part of the video because at the beginning, the father explains why he, told his son, put on the gloves, and then, proceeded to teach his son a lesson.
To wail on him.
Whoop him.
However, within the first couple of seconds of the video, there were some words that could not be said on broadcast radio. And, well, I didn't have time to go through and edit those words out, so I will tell you the story from Fox 5 DC. A Virginia father who shot a video of himself boxing his 17-year-old son and posting it on social media is facing charges in the case, and Fox 5 has learned that the boy has been removed from his father's house amid the investigation. Tavis Sellers told Fox 5 he was disciplining his son while also teaching him how to defend himself, but many questioned whether what he did was discipline or abuse. And I want to pause here to say that I've watched the video, and I'm still not sure if what I saw was discipline or abuse.
Or was it all just staged?
Damn it, Conan. Why is it that you think everything's a damned conspiracy?
All right, as far as people bringing their own video to the table. It's all about the celebrity, the 5 minutes of celebrity.
Yeah.
It could have been, hey, this father and son are always joking around and boxing each other, and hey, wouldn't it be fun to make a neat little 30-second video?
Hits we'd get? How many clicks? We'd
Okay,
get?
it's not a
Exactly.
3-second
It'll go
video;
viral.
it's a 6-minute video, and the blood gushing out of the son's nose at the end of the video isn't fake.
Don't some of your wrestler guys get banged up sometimes by accident? The chair hits them just the wrong way, and then they're bleeding all over the place, or they break a leg or an arm or a collarbone. Huh? Yeah, they're all acting, but sometimes things happen.
I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I think we have to recognize today that that's a possibility.
That's right.
So continue, please, Daryl.
Please tell us.
Please tell us
No,
more.
Tell us more.
Conan
Pray
completely threw me off. Conan, all right, so
You know-
855
you
450
know-
free. That's 855 450 3733. Call in and see if Conan will think anything actually exists.
You know there are alternative motives, and I'm looking for them, especially when it's on YouTube.
This
Yes.
was not on YouTube.
Facebook, even worse.
This was a video that the guy put up on Facebook. And you honestly think, Conan,
No,
that this guy wanted his son removed from the house?
I haven't
That
even
this
seen
guy
the video.
wanted to wind up getting arrested or possibly arrested for
No.
abusing his son?
Listen, these things blow up. We talked about a story, Mark and I, a couple of months ago, where a lady put duct tape on her dog's mouth, and then guess what she did with it? She posted it on Facebook. She thought it was a neat idea, and it blew up. She didn't realize how many dog lovers are out there. Same thing could have happened. These guys might fight all the time, and say, "Hey, let's put one of our fights on the tubes and see what happens," and blows up.
And the other thing that people may not consider is when they do put something like this on Facebook, the government, the state may react in unexpected ways, shall we say.
Like take your son away.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they might have a great relationship, and this might be just this one time where something got out of control.
Or it may be exactly what the story says it is.
Yeah, he could be a stepdad, and he hates his kid, and hey, this is how I learned. Now I'm gonna do some learning on my kid.
Right. So my
whooping.
statement remains factual that what I saw, I don't know if it was discipline or abuse, because it was one of those things of it's not something that I would ever do. And
Well, there are some who would say any type of physical discipline is a form of abuse.
Right.
And the kids just don't learn from it. And my girl, she moved out last fall. She's doing the thing. I think I might have spanked her like 3 times in her whole life. And you know what? She didn't learn. She didn't pick up anything from it. She did not learn from the process. And I think some kids, a little physical pain, and they might pick up on it right away. But some kids they just don't learn, and it backfires, and they actually knuckle under, and it creates more problem in the long run.
Right. And the father does tell him, "I'm going to teach you a lesson, and you're going to learn to defend yourself."
Mm-hmm.
So like the whole time he's hitting him, he says, "You got to keep your hands up, or I'm going to knock you the F out."
So I haven't seen the video, but did the kid put on the gloves willingly? I mean, was it put on the gloves?
I don't know how willingly it is when your father says, "I'm going to teach you a lesson, put on the gloves."
Right, but did he run to the other room? Did he
He walked in sheepishly from another room.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like he was really looking forward to it.
Right. It wasn't one of these things of, "Okay, Dad, I'm going to beat you up." It was, "I don't want to do this."
Right.
And
I know this is going to hurt.
I grew up with some neighbors, 2 sons and a couple of daughters, and this is the treatment that they received. It was all, they would get knocked around whenever they messed up. And I don't know how well I know one ended up committing suicide at age 20-ish. It's, this doesn't work out in the long run. This is not the way to do business. And but I've seen this firsthand. And probably you too, Daryl, down in the South with a lot of hillbilly hicks. And they've got a different form of taking care of their kids. They believe in that good old hell and hellfire treatment.
I don't believe it's regional, but it's definitely generational. It was not too long with the standard mantra in every household in the country was spare the rod, spoil the child.
Right.
So that was just part of how generations were raised.
Right. And we'll get back into this, and I do want both of you to watch the video. It's, like I say, a couple minutes long, so hopefully you'll have time, between segments here. But we are going to jump to the phones. We've got Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, last night we had a red light violation, which ended in death. They ran a red light on Osuna at 50 miles an hour, and they hit him so hard that he got thrown out of the car, and he got killed. And
who was it? Yeah. Who was it that struck at the red light? Was it a cop?
No, it was just like a regular crazy driver. Mm-hmm. That they run red lights here all the time. But it doesn't usually end in death. But once, like every 1,000th time you do it, it does end in fatalities like this. So it's just a regular crazy driver, and they usually say, "Well, I run red lights all the time, and what's the difference?" And this time, it winds up killing somebody.
What is your solution to these types of accidents? More red lights, more penalties for people who run red lights.
Well, usually my sister got a $500 red light camera ticket in California.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good incentive to keep stop. She hates those.
Did the camera show up in court to testify?
Well,
maybe
I'm just trying to wonder who witnessed this.
The red light camera specialist who watches the.
Can I confront my accuser in a court of law? Can I question the red light camera?
Well, here's the thing. I would say something. We have no red light cameras at all. So you guys live in New Hampshire. You do still have red light cameras. Some of them, right?
No, we don't.
I'll tell you one thing that we have here in New Hampshire that really, really works, and they're called traffic circles, rotundas, whatever you want to call them.
Roundabouts are amazing, and there's no red lights in the middle of a roundabout. Sarah, thank you for the call. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're also on Skype. Username is LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live with Daryl, Chris, and Conan.
You think that you're rescuing them, but honestly, they're going to end up rescuing you. You don't know what they've gone through, and they're not going to be perfect. And they are so happy that you are taking a chance on them to be a part of your family. I urge you to go down to your local shelters, pounds, dog rescues, foundations, you name it, and rescue a dog. Once you get your rescue dog, you should definitely order some Dinovite. Go online and order it. DINOVITE.com. Dinovite. It's awesome stuff. 90 days of Dinovite will make your dog a happy dog. It will help them with their overall health. You don't need to spend thousands on vet bills. Dinovite is the best thing that's ever happened to my dogs, besides me, of course. Call 859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. We're talking about the father that may have crossed the line in what he calls disciplining his son. But you know who did not cross the line? Mom. Because, well, Mom wasn't in this video, but specifically your mom. And you need to be thankful for that. And you need to show Mom how much you love her. And you can do that by giving her Sherry's Berries. These things are absolutely amazing. They are huge, fresh strawberries dipped in white chocolate, milk chocolate, or dark chocolate, topped with chocolate chips, chopped nuts, or signature swizzles. They are huge, fresh, juicy, and delicious. And you can actually pick the delivery date. So Mom's not going to be at home on Mother's Day, which is Sunday. Well, get them delivered on Saturday or the day after with a, sorry, Mom, they're not late. I just knew you weren't home yesterday card. You can double the berries, get them starting at $19.99, or you can double the berries for just $10 more when you go to berries.com. That's BERRIES.com. Click on the microphone in the top right-hand corner. Type in code FTL as in Free Talk Live. That's berries.com. Click on the microphone, enter code FTL. And this is a limited time offer. Mother's Day is this weekend, so make sure to order now. Let's go to the phones. We've got Ralph calling in from New Jersey. Ralph, jump up on your one-trick pony and go ahead and do that trick.
Which is what? Well, you know by now that, you know, this man Obama has some kind of like a satanic influence about him in that, you know, he marches in lockstep with Satan, number one. He takes his marching order from Satan, number two. But it is, you know, the great Satan who unleashed the black plague upon this country in the form of Obama.
Hey, Ralph.
Yes.
Isn't Great Satan the United States? Isn't that what most of the Arab country calls us? So you're saying the Great Satan is going to rain down terror on itself?
Well, to put it in full circle, he did, make a deal with, Iran. Well, that leaves. I don't want any doubt, to linger in anyone's mind regarding this animal Obama, who, because of his satanic influence, would make a fool of himself and, carry on with his foolishness, such as when we see with the White House press dinner. That is, in my opinion, in living color and, a minstrel show.
Hey, one quick question. I've never asked you this, and I don't know if you've ever said, but out of Trump, Hillary, or whatever libertarian.
Bernie. Bernie's still around.
Well, that's
the
true.
Who's the next great Satan?
Well,
to
no,
take the
I want to know
reins?
who Ralph is supporting.
Oh, good question.
It would be Trump. The last one standing is Trump. You see.
So you would vote Republican regardless of who the nominee is?
Well, I mean,
You're okay. You're okay with Trump.
Of course.
Okay.
My, I used to put the good word out about this man Trump over here in Jersey. It goes like this: Go, Trump, go, deliver us from Obama and make America great again. Now,
how long have you been saying that?
Did he get that from you?
Or we can say a little prayer,
That should have been Trump's campaign slogan: "Is Trump, deliver us from the great Satan, deliver us from evil."
Rumor has it that Trump does listen to this show, so he may very well have got it from Ralph from New Jersey.
God of our weary years, deliver us from Obama and bring stability and order in America again.
Ralph, thank you for the call. We go to Parker in Washington. Parker, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, guys. So I called you maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago about a couple of traffic trials that I was going to go through. I did the one yesterday.
What were the charges?
So in the one that I did yesterday, it was expired tabs.
Okay.
And then the other one that is this coming Wednesday, it was speeding and driving continuously in a passing lane. Now, as you may remember from a few weeks ago, but possibly not, because you guys get a lot of calls, I was going to try and challenge the jurisdiction by the court, of the court, by forcing them to answer which jurisdiction they were going to try me under.
I remember.
Well, what happened was
civil or criminal, right?
Exactly. And what took me by surprise a little bit was that the judge said that it was a civil case. But what I didn't understand was, and I tried to get dismissed because the officer wasn't there, and there was no injured party present, nor was there any sworn statements by an injured party. He denied that motion.
Was this the actual trial, or was this a pre-trial arraignment type of situation?
I originally went in to mitigate, but I decided on the spot I wanted to strike from the record any previous pleas and withdraw said pleas and contest my case.
Mm-hmm.
So was this your scheduled trial, or was this a scheduled pretrial sort of thing?
This would have been a mitigation where the judge would have heard my case, heard why I didn't have my tabs renewed, and then presumably he would have dropped the fine to a lower amount.
Okay.
So what happened was he denied my motion to have it dismissed, and I was going to try and ask some questions, but he said, I don't have to answer your questions. And so I tried at this. You might laugh a little bit at this, but I tried to read a little bit out of the Constitution of No Authority by Lysander Spooner, and I only got like a few lines in on Section 3, and he said tabs are not attacks; they're something else. It's like, well, what are they then? And then he said, I'm not going to get into a philosophical discussion on what tabs are. And I said, well, I have some questions I'd like to ask you. And then he said, well, I don't have to answer your question. And I said, all right, well, I make a motion to get a continuance.
All right, hold your thought, Parker. Hold your thought, because I definitely want to hear what happened after the judge says, yeah, I don't have to answer anything. Don't have to answer at all. We'll hear that and your calls, 855-450-FREE.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Dr. Joel Wallach here. If you're a baby boomer and you're worried about the big epidemics coming, and I'm not talking about the bird flu or the swine flu, I'm talking about epidemics of Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, arthritis, cancer. That's because the 80 million baby boomers followed all the advice of doctors, and Houston, we have a problem.
See Dr. Wallach live in Farmington, New Mexico, Thursday, May 12th at 7 p.m. Go to www.cdocinfarmington.com. That's www.cdocinfarmington.com.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me. About my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
Stop the insanity of voting for the same old abusers. Declare your independence from the two-party system and join the New Hampshire Liberty Party today at nhliberty.info. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's post pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get back to your calls here in just a moment. We've got a caller calling in with a court update. He called a couple weeks ago, said he wanted to try some legal theories in court. And, well, he went to court, and he's given us a call, let us know how that's going.
And he's still out, so that's a good thing.
He's right. He's not in jail.
Custody of the state.
He's
good.
not in jail. That's good. We'll get back to him in just a second. But I need to tell you about the movement in healthcare that's happening today. It's a movement of people that are ready to stand up and take charge of their healthcare. It's people like you and me who are tired of paying too much for healthcare and getting too little. People who are standing up for their values and letting their conscience make decisions based on timeless principles. It's a movement sweeping the nation, and you need to be part of it. Liberty Health Share is leading the movement of people who are looking for an alternative to traditional health insurance. Liberty Health Share is a healthcare sharing organization of people who are sharing the cost of healthcare in an easy and efficient way. Choose your own doctor, your own hospital, and live out your values in healthcare. Join the movement, and let's change healthcare for good. Join LHS.com or call 800-722-8041. That's Join LHS, as in Liberty Health Share, joinlhs.com or 800-722-8041. Back to Parker. So, Parker, you were saying that you tried asking for a continuance on the case, and the judge said no. You tried asking the judge some questions. He said, I don't have to answer your questions. You then started quoting the Constitution of No Authority by Lysander Spooner, and he said that license plates and the little registration tags are not a tax, it's something else, and that's where you left off.
Yeah, in case this goes a little bit too long and we can't fit this all in, I would like to talk with you guys about this after the show if you guys have time. Getting back to what I was talking about, so I tried to get a continuance, and I tried doing all this different stuff that you just said, and none of it worked. And basically, I raised my fine, which sucks. It's now like $230-something. But here's what I figured out, because I was stressing about it. I was like, how is it that I could possibly be found guilty of a civil case? Here's where it gets interesting. A license is a legal contract between the licensor, the state, and the licensee, you, I, and your listeners. So, and essentially, it makes you an employee of the state. If you look at a corporate logo or a corporate name, Chase Manhattan, U.S. Bank, Bank of America, things like that, and then if you look at your birth certificate, your passport, your driver's license, anything like that, you'll see that all the letters are in full caps or all capital letters. Well, this basically shows that you are a corporation. Your legal name is a fictitious legal entity, meaning that it does not exist.
Did you tell this to the judge? Because we've heard this theory thousands of times. Did you tell this to the judge?
I only found out afterwards.
So the next time you go to court, Parker, the next time you go to court, tell the judge the whole corporate entity thing and you're not a corporation. Call us back. Let us know what happens.
But according to
call.
his information, he became a legal corporation the day that he was born, because his parents went and got him Social Security number, and he's got the birth certificate, and this whole driver's license thing is just another step in cementing you into the government slavery motive.
Man, I've heard this stuff so many times.
Yeah.
I just have, and it's part of me sitting there goes, but it just never holds up to my own personal scrutiny. I get the sentiment, and the other thing is it's not going to matter worth a hill of beans if there isn't a judge out there that's going to actually go, you know what, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Right, and I've yet to hear anybody that has said this thing about the corporation that has used that in court to where it always works. Now, I do know one person that he's used some stuff in one court, and I don't know if it's that the judge has finally, gotten tired of him, or if this judge is like, yes, this man speaketh the truth. He knows the secret words. But he winds up getting charges dropped in one court, and I honestly think it's that the judge is like, oh, this guy again? I don't want to deal with it. There's too much paperwork.
Right. And or if if other people find out about this guy and they do the same exact thing, because that's the way to do it. And, stop taking the plea deal and take every single traffic ticket, every single driving in the parking lane or whatever this guy had done. Take every single one of those, even if you're guilty. Take them to the courts and make them work for their money. Well, that's the way I see it. Even if you're, because typically people are like, no, I've got work. I can't take 3 hours off Monday morning to go sit in court for, and find out that I have to come back in a month. They just can't do it. They can't afford it. But I mean, if everyone was to do it, it would go away.
It's not even if everyone, if it's 10% of the people wound up saying, I want a trial. It would clog the system.
You think about the last time you had to go to court or last time you were waiting for a court date and how it gets pushed back and because it's too busy and they don't have enough people and they can't get all the cases through in a day. Exactly, Daryl. Think about that. 5%, 10%, it just throws a wrench into the whole mess and it makes them eat their own dog food. I mean, they're the ones that are saying, these laws must be enforced however regardless of whether there's any justification for them, regardless
if there's any victim.
The law is the law, and we must enforce it.
Right, and, maybe, like the example you used, it might cause some judge to question, and that's a good thing.
Let's think of one of the biggest, and that is alcohol prohibition. The people said no. We're going to keep making alcohol. We're going to make you work for it. You're going to have to come break our stills. You're going to have to come prosecute us. And, and it only lasted, no more than a decade.
13, 14 years.
And it was a dismal failure. The government lost a lot of money in that silly effort. If everyone was to treat parking tickets like they handled alcohol prohibition and just did their own thing because there was no victim except, the poor parking lady, it would go away. They would realize, no, we can't afford it. We can't afford to enforce these silly laws. We'll move on to something. Hey, let's just stick to violent criminals, criminals who are actually hurting people. Let's just stick to that because the people want those people taken off the streets.
And speaking of people that were hurting people or possibly hurting people, let's jump back to the story that we started the show on.
Oh, good.
And you guys did get a chance to watch the video.
We did.
Conan, are you still convinced that the video is a hoax, that it never happened?
No, don't be putting words in my mouth again. I never said it was a hoax. I said it was a sign of the times. It is the individuals taking pictures of what they had for breakfast. It is their 5 minutes of celebrity, and that's what this guy did. His whole opening was so set up and staged.
Mm-hmm.
The kid
staged, meaning he did not punch his son in the face.
No.
The fact that they shot it that to me is the whole point of it.
The whole thing was set up. It was real, like some of your wrestling matches, real to a certain point. But it was set up, and the kid knew it was happening. The dad knew it was going to go on, and I'm thinking it's happened before. Kid was sniffling. He definitely ruptured something in his nose. He had enough blood on his T-shirt.
The dad actually beat the dog snot out of his son.
No, I think he just got to keep going. He got a whooping. He got a whooping, and I'm thinking it's happened before. But because he put it on the social medias, the people found out about it, and it blew up.
Right. So you're agreeing that the thing actually happened.
Yes, it happened.
Okay. We'll talk about that and your calls. This is Free Talk
If you're considering
Live.
going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, call 1-800-958-5345. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, call 1-800-958-5345. That's 1-800-958-5345.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. If you want to play online poker with Bitcoin, you need a site that's trustworthy and technically sound. The site managers of swcpoker.eu have proven their commitment to bringing you great gameplay from a site you can trust, swcpoker.eu. They have lots of new games too, including Chinese poker, and their Krill leaderboard is open right now. It's a beautiful site, easy to use with lots of players. Go on over to swcpoker.eu now and have some fun with your Bitcoin. swcpoker.eu.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 641-552-5046. That's 641-552-5046.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Did you know that you, as a beautiful, free, independent human being with inalienable rights, own yourself? You can do what you want with your own body and the product of your labor. All human interactions should be free of force and coercion, and we are free to exercise our rights, limited only by respect for the individual rights of others. Governments rely on force, and force is a poor substitute for persuasion. When you learned don't hit, don't steal, and don't kill, it wasn't unless you work for the government. Governments frighten us into thinking we need them, but we are moving past this statist paradigm and rendering them obsolete. The Wisdom Within Freedom by Adam Kokesh will empower you to be more happy, free, and prosperous while putting you in a position to help shape our destiny. Find Freedom by Adam Kokesh in Dead Tree format on Amazon and available online for free at thefreedomline.com/freedom. That's thefreedomline.com/freedom. Let's go to the phones. We've got Ron calling in from Virginia. Ron, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
So I was in court a few years back for speeding, and I had been studying all this legal theory. So I went in, and also on my license, for example, my signature has UCC-1-308, which is basically no prejudice will be brought against me when dealing with any kind of contracts or legal disputes. So
in layman's terms, what does that mean? So basically you write this UCC something, and then nobody can do anything to you?
Well, what it means is it means that if I am the benefactor of a contract that I was not aware of, I cannot be held liable or held I don't have any obligation to comply with that contract if I was not aware.
Okay. And
So
this is
it's
U.S.
exactly like
code.
this.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's UCC, Uniform Commercial Code. The whole theory of legal theory is bound upon this. So I went to court, and I had already signed on my license. I have that signature. I did this years ago. And then so every time I sign anything with the government, I always did the UCC 1-308. Now, it doesn't really have any effect, but that's what my signature is legally. So that's how I sign. If I'm signing the doctor's note, I don't do it. So I go into court, and the first thing the judge asks is, how do you plead? And I say, well, Your Honor, I have some questions regarding the nature of my case, because according to the Constitution, Article 3, the judge must answer any questions you have regarding the action being brought against you. And he's fine, okay, I'll answer your questions. And I said, well, I'm reserved my rights under Uniform Commercial Code. He said, that's fine. And I said, I need to find out, is this a criminal case being brought against me? And he says, yes. And then I started going through a whole bunch of things like, well, where's the plaintiff? Where's the damages? He goes, well, that's all civil. And I was like, okay, fine. Well, this is not a court of admiralty under maritime law. And when I said that, he got really mad at me, and he said, if you say maritime or admiralty in my courtroom one more time, you will go to jail. And so then I basically knew that legal theory was bunk. And so I just said, I plead guilty, and he charged me.
All right. Well, why did you plead guilty instead of just making them go through with the trial?
Well, because at the time, to be honest with you, and on reflection, I would say, can I please have a jury trial, because that's what the Constitution guarantees me. But I didn't think about that at the time, because when you have a judge screaming at you, beat red in the face, it kind of unnerves you. So I got.
I completely understand. I've been there. I had a trial one time where I requested a jury trial for a seatbelt ticket in South Carolina, and I wanted to try some of these legal things, and the judge, after about 30 seconds of probably 10 seconds of my opening statement, dismissed the jury, threatened me with contempt no less than half a dozen times, brought the jury back, and then I was just completely flustered. Mm-hmm. I did get the police officer to admit on the stand that he had no physical evidence to support his claim that I was driving without a seatbelt, but the jury still found me guilty in about 5 minutes. Ron, good call.
Okay,
thanks.
So, yeah, magic words in court, I don't think there really are any.
Well, no, there might be. It's just what you said. It's what both of you guys said. The individual, the judges and the people actually in charge know that these things might actually exist, or they just don't want to have their time wasted, and they get flustered themselves, red in the face, start yelling at you
after they have to deal with it long enough. They're Yeah.
And
it's like dealing with you. After enough time, I get red in the face and I start yelling.
That's right, but that's part of my strategy, and it might be part of this judge's strategy as well. Or just all he has to do is but you've never actually said you would mute my mic. You haven't gone there yet.
I've not gone there yet.
Or changed the door code on me, so I can't even get in the building.
I don't know how to change the door code to the LRN studio.
It would be.
Let's jump back into this story that we've sort of interspersed throughout this first hour of the show, and that's the guy down in Virginia that posted a video of himself, what he calls disciplining his child and also teaching his son to defend himself.
The boy got whooped.
And I hate to use the term child to describe a 17-year-old, but that's the term used in the news article because legally the 17-year-old, according to the state of Virginia, or rather the Commonwealth of Virginia,
I'm sure
is legally a child.
All 16 and 17-year-olds probably hate being in that category. It's ridiculous. They're driving, they're doing their own thing, and they're still children.
It should be noted that Virginia is also the state that prosecuted a 16-year-old for possession of child porn because he was sexting pictures of himself to his girlfriend, and the child porn photos that he had were pictures of himself, but they charged him as an adult because in Virginia they could do that. So It's that nice little thing to where you're both an adult and a child at the same time. You're Schrodinger's adolescent, I guess.
Right.
Those are the magic
so
years.
I guess in this whole thing, so we have a dad who, for whatever reason, decides to box with his son, whether it's just to get hits on Facebook or whether it's to truly teach his son a lesson. I don't know. But
I think it's both.
But I guess I'm just wondering, well, first of all, what became of it? What was the end result? Was his son taken from him? Was he charged with a crime?
So that's what the story came out April 29th, which was about a week ago. That's when the video was posted, and the first paragraph says that the father is under investigation. The son has been removed from the home
by Children's Services, who are a bunch of lowlifes in their own element.
After the boxing match which ends, the video shows Sellers wiping blood from his face, or rather Sellers' son wiping blood from his face. Let me know. Tell your teachers you're sorry, the father says. According to Sellers, he busted his son's lip and gave him a bloody nose, but the injuries weren't long-lasting. The caption Sellers posted with the video on Facebook reads, "Blessings come in all forms, and mines come in the form of a great young man to have as a son. I feel I would be the worst disappointment to him if I did not do my best to deter him from choices in life that I have seen lead to destruction. The world now has given us platforms to reach out and show our efforts. A lot of people were hurt by this video, and that was not the purpose. I did it to show what has been working for me." On Friday afternoon, that being this past Friday, Fox 5 reporter Alexandra Limon reported that Sellers' son had been removed from the father's house pending an investigation. Sellers turned himself in to police in Prince William County on Friday morning. He faces charges including domestic assault and battery. He was released from jail on Friday on $5,000 unsecured bond. On Thursday night, he told Fox 5 if given the chance to give his opinion, his son would say he didn't want to be punished for making the video. Your thoughts on this or anything else, 855-450-FREE. And we're also on Skype. Username is LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live.
Could you use up to $35,000? No need to shop around for loans anymore. LoanUS.com is a convenient online way to connect with a lender based on your unique background and provide you a loan of up to $35,000. And LoanUS.com works with lenders in all 50 states. Use the loan to pay for emergency expenses, medical bills, debt consolidation, home improvement, large purchases, and even taxes.
LoanUS.com connects you with lenders but is not a lender or a broker and does not make lending or credit decisions. Loans may not be available for residents of some states. APR, loan term, loan amount, and other loan details may vary. See LoanUS.com for details.
Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, May 5th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,283 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $450. Antiwar.com reports Russia's defense ministry has announced its intentions to create 3 new military divisions for its westernmost territory in response to NATO's announcement last week of another 4,000 ground troops to be deployed along the Russian border. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg insists that NATO's deployments were a response to Russia's use of force against Ukraine in 2014, which both happened 2 years ago and has been in a state of ceasefire for well over a year. NATO has used Ukraine as an excuse for repeated buildups along the Russian border, and while Stoltenberg insists that all these troops are purely defensive, Russia is clearly feeling the need to respond after half a dozen such major deployments. Russia has not said where the new troops are to be deployed, but they will likely be in the exclave of Kaliningrad, at least in part, as much of the NATO deployment is along the Polish border with that territory. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice on Wednesday weighed in with a heavy hand on the controversial bathroom bill for transgender persons that was passed by the state of North Carolina earlier this year and may threaten to pull millions of dollars in federal money if the state does not dump the law. After concluding that the controversial measure violates federal anti-discrimination laws, the Justice Department notified North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory in a letter on Wednesday that he has until Monday to abandon the law, according to the Charlotte Observer. The letter states both you and the state of North Carolina are in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Specifically, the state is engaging in a pattern of practice of discrimination against transgendered state employees. Title VII prohibits the discrimination of employees by employers on the basis of sex, and the letter notes that federal courts and administrative agencies have previously applied that provision to cover transgendered workers. When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a federal lawsuit filed on Wednesday revives lingering questions about the bloodshed at Kent State University, a traumatic event in U.S. history that still holds sway over many who lived through it 46 years ago. The lawsuit, filed by Buffalo attorney Michael Kuzma, asked the Federal Bureau of Investigation to release all records about a mysterious figure in the events of May 4th, 1970, when the Ohio National Guard troops shot dead 4 unarmed people and wounded 9 others during a campus protest against the Vietnam War. The deaths inflamed emotions in a country already polarized over the war and left an image seared in the national memory. John Paul Philo's Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph of Marianne Vicchio grieving over the body of victim Jeffrey Miller. The investigation left many who followed the case unsatisfied, and unanswered questions surround a man named Terry Norman. Norman was a student and FBI informant. He carried a handgun and a camera that day, and his precise role has been in dispute ever since. Norman has kept quiet, declining media inquiries over the years. Reuters could not reach him at his last listed telephone number and email address. Howard Means, author of the recently released 67 Shots, Kent State and the End of American Innocence, said Terry Norman is in a sense the second gunman on the grassy knoll. He's been kind of the handy boogeyman or a red herring. The FBI cited privacy protections for not releasing documents about Norman or even confirming that they exist, saying in a statement there would first need to be an overriding public interest among other considerations. Kuzma filed a Freedom of Information Act request last year for all FBI records on Norman, which was denied. Kuzma's lawsuit names the Justice Department, the parent agency of the FBI, as a defendant. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Shoppers at a Hannaford supermarket could only speculate that the middle-aged woman angrily demanding a price check on a pack of rice pudding was once a carefree youth.
I don't care what it says on your screen. You know, this is why people go to the store across the street, because of the way they're treated here. You know, nobody likes it here.
Those watching the woman angrily asking for a manager over a $1.20 price difference imagined that the woman was once a fresh-faced college graduate, too spirited and fun-loving to throw a bitter tantrum in front of a room of complete strangers.
She was probably once just some freewheeling college kid, you know? Her biggest concern was which one of her friends she was going to hang out with at night and whether they were going to meet at the movies or a bonfire on the beach. Now look at her. You know, I'll bet if you'd have told her 10 or 15 years ago that one day she'd be ripping into a grocery store clerk with a room full of strangers staring at her, she'd have been horrified. It's sad.
In other news, a few years in the military would have really straightened out a troubled teen killed in Afghanistan, and a man on the verge of self-realization instead turns to God.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 in studio tonight. It's Daryl,
Chris, and Conan.
And you can call in with what's on your mind. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, if there's time, apparently the FDA is going to wind up treating e-cigs like tobacco. And Conan's got an update on a New Hampshire man that was arrested a little over a year ago at a selectmen meeting. There was some kind of lawsuit, and, well, we'll tell you about it. But first, your calls and thoughts. Tim in Wyoming. Tim, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. Now, I've been hearing you guys talking about the Uniform Commercial Code. Excuse me. A friend of mine in California was actually asserting his rights under that, and also another friend of mine was using the Code of Federal Regulations, which is actually over the top of the Uniform Commercial Code. He was saying that the CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, was essentially the law of the land besides the Constitution, or in absence of the Constitution, or as a replacement for the Constitution, really.
Okay, so let me ask this question. What's the difference between the Code of Federal Regulations and the United States Code, the USC?
The USC, I'm not exactly sure what the United States Code is, in as far as the difference. I mean, that's, you guys sit there with computers in front of you. I don't have one right here, but I'm just saying.
I only ask because I've heard people say that there's a difference between those two things.
Well,
there's
one is statute and one is something else, and none of them are actually quote-unquote law, because Black's Dictionary describes law as something and ordinance as something else and statute as a third thing, and something government's not a corporation.
Right. Well, I mean, we're basically as soon as we get our slave numbers, so to speak, as soon as we get our Social Security numbers, we've become a product. We've become an asset. We become an asset and also a slave at the same time, because we're counted as being a producing tool, if you want to call it. We're like an animal. Pardon me?
Peons.
Peon. Yeah. Well, that. I mean, we're chattel. We're cattle or chattel, whichever. But we are essentially animals in the field until we're slaughtered, and we're fed and fattened and controlled until they decide they don't need us anymore.
Soylent Green is made out of people.
Taxpayers.
Out of taxpayers. Yeah, out of dumb taxpayers, if you want to call it. But anyway, no, I don't know. It's. I think we're headed that direction, though. I mean, that sounds like something Hillary wants to do when the fun camps start up. But anyway, get rid of some of the people in the fun camps, and then feed them to the rest of the people, like the Matrix. Just turn them into black goop, and everybody drinks their friends. But anyway, that's strange.
I am not a battery.
Yes, right. No, I have red hair, but I'm still not copper top. So but. Anyway, that's a friend of mine. As I say about the Code of Federal Regulations, a friend of mine was actually schooling other people on this, and he was. I wish he wasn't dead. Actually, he died of cancer. I think he was killed for his beliefs, and this is, there's a conspiracy aspect, if you want to call it. But I've had a lot of friends who were libertarians, if you want to call them, but definitely constitutionalists, and they are dead because they spoke out. So I never was as far involved as those people were, but I had a friend who was involved in the sovereign citizen movement. As an individual, he was a sovereign citizen. He considered himself that. He took the license plates, took the numbered plates off of his vehicle, off of his car, his motorized carriage, his personal conveyance. He took the number plates off of it, and he said he put an American flag in their place. And he had a sign on the back of his minivan that said, "This is not a commercial vehicle. This vehicle is not for hire." And he said, because my name is in all caps on this piece of plastic that I carry around with the state of California logo, saying, this is a likeness of me, but this is not me. He said, this is a representation of what the state believes me to be.
Right.
Because this is in all caps. I don't write my name in all caps, and I don't give all my personal data out directly to each and every person who asks for this. When they ask for the piece of plastic, usually it's at the point of a gun or the threat of the point of the gun, so the barrel of the gun rather. But he said, this is not who I am. He was actually very the last time I talked to him before I left California, he was still embroiled in a case with the state where they actually confiscated his car. And they were trying to take his property, and they were trying to use eminent domain to knock his house down. So, I mean, because he'd spoken out, and that's the thing.
So they weren't planning to actually build anything there. They just wanted to take this guy's house because they didn't like what he said?
Well,
and so they claimed eminent domain?
Like they haven't done that before, Daryl. They haven't said they're going to build something, burn houses down, and then never end up building in place of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the case right there. He had spoken out against the city and said, you can't paint my curb in front of my house, my only parking place. He said, you can't paint the curb in front of my house all the way down to the corner. As a matter of fact, it is to everyone else too. But he said, you can't paint the curb red, so I can't park there. It's not legal for you to do that. And he said, I'll park on top of my front lawn in front of my house if I want to. Then,
which would be breaking a city ordinance. They get him on something else.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they try to get him on everything under the sun. They showed up with a book of tickets or whatever and said, we're going to write, there's 200 pages here. We're going to write you a ticket for every one. I'm exaggerating, of course, but that was the case where he and his wife were in his car, and they were pulled over, and he said, "I don't have to show you any identification. I don't have to show you anything. And you see that there's no number plates on this car. This is my personal property. I own this, and I own myself, and you don't own me. And I am traveling from point A to point B. And so you cannot stop me from traveling. You can't stop me from owning property. You can't stop me from being an individual." And he asserted all these rights, and man, oh boy, the state came down on top of him. The city came down on top of him. I mean, the feds, I have, as I say, the last time I talked to them, I don't know about the federal government, but
I'm sure they're in line.
All over. Oh, yeah, they're waiting. They're waiting till everybody else gets their turn so they can come in and, sweep up or mop up or suck them down the tube and feed them to someone. Anyway, sorry.
That's all right.
But,
I got to say, I seriously admire these guys because it's civil disobedience. You're looking at what the state says the law is, and you're saying, no, I think if I read your law this way, then this is how I can live my life. And I think that's great. I think those guys, for the most part, are martyrs. They're not going to be successful in court. The state's always going to come down, bear down on them as hard as they can to try to squelch it.
Now, there is one thing that I want to try in court the next time I wind up getting something, and hopefully it's not anytime soon, knock on wood.
But you never know.
Right, you never know, but there's always the claim if you ask the police officer to interpret some set of statute that they're enforcing against you, the prosecutor will always say, objection calls for a legal conclusion. The next time I go to court, I want to say, I contend that he made a legal conclusion when he wrote me this ticket. He is therefore qualified to answer my question.
Right.
That's right. That would be.
And then I want to see the head of both the prosecutor and the judge explode because they're not going to know what to do. Because either they're going to have to admit that, yes, the police officer did make a legal conclusion when he wrote a ticket, or somehow it's not making a legal conclusion to say, I have determined that you violated this statute and then wrote it on paper and brought this complaint to the court.
Wouldn't he just say, I have reasonable suspicion that you violated this law?
Well, generally, they don't call a parking ticket or a speeding ticket reasonable suspicion.
You're just
they call it a criminal complaint. Tim, thank you for the call. And I want somebody to try that, and hopefully it'll be me, because I want to be able to try out my own theory.
And you'll get video of it.
Yes, I will.
Just speed.
855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Dentist office, may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth whitening appointment.
Oh, may I ask why?
I found a teeth whitener that works in 5 minutes that I can do from home.
Can I ask what it is?
It's called Power Swabs, and it whitens your teeth in 5 minutes, doesn't leave my teeth feeling sensitive, and it's a lot less expensive than visiting the dentist.
Hi, I'm John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs, and if you want to whiten your teeth on average 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days, then try Power Swabs. There's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth and you're done. It removes stains on natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. Try Power Swabs risk-free. Dial 1-800-665-0387. That's 1-800-665-0387. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will be wowed by your new white smile. Try it risk-free and get free shipping and handling today. Dial 1-800-665-0387. That's 1-800-665-0387.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Because he can't yell at me.
This is Free Talk Live, and yes, Conan, I can yell at you, and I'll mute your mic as well to teach you a lesson. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Daryl, Chris, and Conan. And Chris, you've got a story about the FDA and tobacco e-cig somethings.
Well, yes. This story comes from the Verge, and I might reference another one too, but the headline is, the FDA is banning e-cigarette sales to people under 18 years old. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is now banning the sale of e-cigarettes to people under the age of 18. The ruling, which was finalized today, aligns with how tobacco products are already regulated, prohibiting the sale of tobacco products to minors. Now, the term tobacco product has been officially expanded to include e-cigarettes, vape pens, and other electronic devices that have grown in popularity over the last few years.
Now, let me ask this question, and you may or may not know the answer. Does this actually change the way anything has been done in practice? Because just because the FDA has not ever said you can't sell this to someone under 18 does not mean that the 50 state governments plus the District of Criminals, plus the various territories and all the various municipalities around the country haven't already been doing it this way.
I don't know about that, and I'd also wager that there's a whole lot of independent shops and probably some grocery chains and anywhere else that might sell e-cigs or vape stuff. I bet sometimes they just go, you're under 18. I'm not going to sell that to you. Or can I see some ID, because it's our policy not to sell people under 18.
You know, I think this is just the first step in moving to the next step, which is taxing these products.
Of course.
Because so right now, a lot of these, like you said, a lot of these stores are going to check. I don't know what what are the regulations for vape pens and e-cigs? E-cigs, yes, but what about vaporizers?
I think that's going to be on a state-by-state level. I mean, this is going to be federal. This is what drives me nuts. Federal law, because a group of bureaucrats, the FDA, has said that we think it should be this way, and then the administration says, yeah, we're good with that. This is not your representatives voting and saying, we believe this is what the law should be. Your elected representatives, the people that are supposed to represent you, this is a group of bureaucrats that were appointed.
Well, and even the people that are supposedly elected to supposedly represent us, a lot of the times when they vote on something, it's not something that they necessarily wrote.
Oh, absolutely not.
But as far as the guys who represent us, all you've got to tell them, these bureaucrats in D.C. or wherever they are who are writing these laws, all you got to tell the supposed people who represent us, oh, by the way, we're going to be taxing these items now, and we're going to be filtering some of that down to you.
Ooh, I get paid?
And then the dollar signs.
More money.
Exactly, and that's how things like Common Core and state or federal-run highways work. You just say, hey, look, we're going to give you back some of this money, and if you go ahead and agree with us.
I'm thinking of something that was discussed here in New Hampshire, I believe last year, where it was Philip Morris and one of the other big tobacco companies wrote up this thing, and they found a sponsor for it, and they came in, and it was something to regulate e-cigs.
Yeah.
And because these big tobacco companies produce really horrible e-cig products, they came in and said, well, we're e-cig companies, so we're not asking you to regulate our competition. We're asking you to regulate us.
By the way, and they are already being regulated, so nothing changes for them. What changes are their competition. The guys that are putting these formulas together in their garages and selling them on eBay or wherever are selling the actual components so you can make your own vape liquids.
Right.
We'll get into this.
They
are in direct competition with the cigarette companies who nothing changes for them. So this is a monopoly situation.
Well, what we're describing is the oligarchy we live in. This is crony capitalism. Another example, and this, if people aren't familiar with how things work, this is how things work. Administrations, whatever you want to call it, FDA, is staffed full of people that used to work in the drug industry, big pharma. It's going to be staffed probably with some scientists that have some ties to big tobacco. And this is
people that have ties to big farm.
Sure. Yeah,
because
big farm,
food, drug, and
exactly.
Whatever the A is.
But that's it. And all you need are lobbyists and lots of dollars to go towards campaigns, and you can destroy your competition. And you can do it legally, and that's the thing. So,
and you really only need the lobbyist and the campaign contributions for federal office. At the state level, because most of these guys are part-time legislators.
Right.
They'd go in and whatever the lobbyists say in committee hearing or whatever the representative of they said something really good, so therefore I'm going to do what they said we should do.
Wait, they said less kids would die? Well, I'm all for that.
I love the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is now banning the sale of e-cigarettes to people under 18. Let me see, I already talked about that.
So I'm curious, one more question.
Sure.
So in states like Hawaii and California, where they've raised now the age that you have to be to purchase tobacco.
21?
In Hawaii, they raised it to 21. That was signed by the governor last year. California's legislature just passed it. It now goes to the desk of Jerry Brown.
They're a little late. They're a little late to the table. Do kids even smoke anymore? Cigarettes?
Yes.
I don't see it.
Vaping is way, way, way up.
Right, but my question is, so in states like California and Hawaii, and I've heard that Massachusetts is thinking of doing the same thing, would it increase the age for legal vaping?
I think what those states will do is what those states will do, which will be to try to exceed the federal law so they can protect the children even more. I just think
make it 26.
20, yeah, why stop
there?
Because
that's what the feds say you're a child for health insurance purposes. That's 26,
and big tobacco would be fine with that. You could make the minimum age of vaping be 99 years old. You hit 100, you can vape,
but only if they raise the voting age to 26, and as well as the enlistment age. And the draft age, they got to raise them all. You can't have.
We've got wars to fight.
You've got
hold on. How can you raise the draft age to 26 when you have to register for Selective Service before you're 25.
Good
That's a good point. All right. So let's keep going with the story.
So you register before you turn 26, and then after you register, then you're eligible.
Correct. There you go. The new ruling will go into effect in 90 days and makes e-cigs subject to the same rules outlined in the Tobacco Control Act of 2009. This means retailers will need to verify the photo ID of their customers before they buy e-cigarettes. In addition, manufacturers whose products hit the market after February 15th, 2007, so essentially all vapes, will need to submit applications to the agency for approval and to determine whether the products show any additional health risks.
Hopefully there's more, because I've got questions. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Purchase a ProPure system during the Crazy May sale and get a free ProMax shower filter or water filter pitcher. Remove up to 200 contaminants with the Pro 1G 2.0 truly cleanable, reusable filter. We don't stretch our claims. We just deliver performance. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Free Talk Live.
The TSA increasing the invasiveness of their pat-downs. They're no longer going to use the backsides of their hands. They're going to be touching
Now they're going to be grabbing it full
That's
on.
right, all over. And
what is their justification for this? I've heard this, but
that's all the terrorism that's been happening. That
but why do they have to use the front of their hands now?
Well,
was there an event? Did they use a certain event where something got through that they would have felt if they'd used the front of their hands instead of the back of their hands?
They just want to encourage you to go through the new sniffing device.
What's going to be their explanation when they have to use their penis to pat you down? What is their justification going to be then? My hands aren't sensitive enough to catch everything.
Well, it's not like you can read Braille with that thing, my friend.
So yeah,
your lips are very sensitive. You have a lot of nerve endings in your lips. So when the hands are no longer good enough.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Thursday, gold is up $3 at $1,283 per ounce. Silver is 20 cents higher at $17.60 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $447 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping customers buy and sell precious metals for nearly 40 years. Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are, 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the
change.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the new regulations that the FDA is putting forth on e-cigs and vaporizers as Conan puffs on his little vape pen thing that may or may not be known to the state of California to cause cancer. I think everything is known to the state of California to cause cancer.
Yeah, just move out of that place. It is if you live in California, you're gonna die.
The state of California is known by the state of California to cause cancer. That should be on the warning label of the Welcome to California sign. But, you know, speaking of things known to cause cancer, well, Bernie Sanders has never actually caused cancer to our knowledge, but he has come to represent the new socialist movement in America,
which causes cancer of the brain.
This gives us an incredible opportunity to address his supporters in a rational, courteous, and dignified way. Fortunately for us right now, we have Roger Ver on the side of freedom, and he has laid out an incredible challenge. Adam Kokesh has agreed to meet Bernie Sanders in any city in the United States of America on any day between now and the end of the year for a friendly debate on socialism versus voluntarism, in which Bernie Sanders gets to choose an objective moderator. To sweeten the deal, Roger Ver, a.k.a. Bitcoin Jesus, has offered that upon completion of a 3-hour debate, in which both men have equal time, he will donate a total of $100,000 worth of Bitcoin to the charity of each man's choice, $50,000 apiece. Learn more by going to bernie.freetalklive.com. Chris, let's get back into this story about the e-cigs. And Conan, I know you've got questions, I've got questions, and I think we have some answers.
Yeah. So really this applies, and as we said before the break, to any e-cigarette or vape product or anything that was
e-hookah, e-cigar, and those are things I didn't even know existed.
Yeah. Anything that hit the market off of after February 15th, 2007. So just as a little aside, I was an early adopter of vaping or e-cigs. I guess you'd call it an e-cig. But it was like when they were first released, and it seems like this was around 2010, 11 in the United States. I did the math, and I'm like, all right, well, this looks like it would save me money over tobacco.
I remember the first time I ever heard about an e-cig, it was when everything was e-something.
Right.
And I was like, how do you download a cigarette? This makes no sense.
I'm waiting for the Apple iCig.
Just give them a week and a half.
Exactly. So
Steve Jobs,
will it be locked?
Get on that.
Will it have password protection on it?
Probably, but we'll get hackers. We'll pay hackers to hack
you unlock it with your tongue.
Oh, God. All right. So anything brought to market after February 15th, 2007. So they basically set a random date that will cover every possible thing that's out there that you could ever wish to buy should you desire
everything made
one.
Almost in the last decade.
Yeah.
Related to puffing on something that simulates a cigarette but is not actually a cigarette.
Whether or not it has actual nicotine in it or harmful smoke that is actually killing people. I mean, they've just... Where is this argument at?
They don't have one.
They just lumped it in with the actual bad cigarettes.
No, they came up with the same thing.
Because it's all about the revenue.
Right. No, they did this same BS several years ago with the candied cigarettes, to where you can't have the little red end on the candied cigarette because that looks like a lit cigarette, and that teaches children something, so therefore candied cigarettes are prohibited if they do this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
So it's all about the illusion. We're protecting you from the appearance of
and you can't have
a cigarette. That's why e-cigs have to have the little blue tip instead of red.
And you probably can't have like cartoon figures on the box because that'll just attract the kids because
we're going to get all that stuff. And keep in mind that this is crony capitalism at work. Companies will be able to sell their wares for 2 years while they submit applications, and then for another year while their applications are reviewed. I think it's kind of telling how they phrase that. It's sort of saying that, but only for those 3 years, because after that, you're out of business.
Daryl, you actually brought up the actual items that are...
The 499-page document... I obviously have not had time to peruse the entire thing because I was not notified about this a week ago. However, I did do a quick search, and Conan, you were asking about the liquids. And what I found on page 21 of the document, in response, FDA has explained that establishments that mix or prepare e-liquids or create or modify aerosoling apparatus for direct sale to consumers are tobacco product manufacturers under the definition set forth in the FD&C Act, and accordingly are subject to the same legal requirements that apply to other tobacco product manufacturers.
So, you're Philip Morris and you get hit with a little bit of new regulation. You've got an army of attorneys. You've got billions of dollars in revenue globally. No problem. We'll get our lobbyists back in there and we'll see if we can fight this thing a little bit. But we have to suck it up and do it. We're still going to make billions of dollars.
And you're going to knock off the competition because
some entrepreneur in California, well, God knows he's not in California. Let's try New Hampshire, who comes up with a new mix that is actually better for you, or he's found a way to eliminate. Yeah, he's found a way to eliminate some of the harmful chemicals that may be in some of his competitors.
Which, by the way, they include in e-cigs.
Right.
Especially the candy flavors.
Right.
The fruity flavors have this nasty chemical that probably is killing you.
Yeah, but that isn't the point. The point is just to eliminate competition, and these companies that hold lots of politicians in their back pocket can do it through regulation, not through the law.
And here's one more thing. Reading on page 22, it says, after specifying what the warning label for things that contain nicotine have to say, or things that contain tobacco, it says e-liquids that do not contain tobacco or nicotine or are not derived from tobacco or nicotine do not meet the definition of covered tobacco product as described throughout this final rule, and will not be required to carry an addiction warning or submit to a self-certification.
So you know what I'll do if I'm one of these mixing companies? I'll sell them separately. I'll mix the base
parts 1 and 2,
and I'll sell
part 3 separately.
And they'll have to buy the nicotine in a separate shipment with a disclaimer saying, "Hey, look, this is."
But if you make the
powerful stuff,
right? But you're still making the nicotine. Somebody still is, and that person is now a tobacco manufacturer.
But that'll have to be another law where nicotine, because you don't have to be a tobacco guy to purchase nicotine. Isn't it a pesticide?
I understand, but where are you going to get it, and how are you going to distill it? And I think that's what this is aimed at: is anybody who provides nicotine specifically in some form that could be used in an e-cigarette is probably going to fall under the FDA's regulation. And don't say new law. All they need is a new ruling.
Right. But I don't see them creating a law to tax and or regulate nicotine.
They're covering it under this.
If it's a mixed part of the end product that they're selling you.
Well, the out for people who like to vape just for the fun of it because they're not addicted to nicotine or they don't want nicotine is, yes, so far you may still have the opportunity to do what you've been doing, providing that your manufacturer of your vaping equipment has gone through all the hoops and has gone through FDA approval and everything else.
And you're at least selling it to someone who's at least 18.
And 18 years old.
Because of the stupid law.
Yeah, or will be by the time the law takes place.
And Conan, I'm reading the thing, and they're covering nicotine under their tobacco-related product thing.
Sold separately, by itself.
Doesn't matter if it's sold separately. You're selling it as part of a juice, right? If you're adding it to juice, it's a juice that you're selling.
But if you're just
covered.
If you're just buying a bottle of nicotine, that's all I'm asking.
To add to juice, it's covered. $8.55, $4.50 free.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com, and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free. You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The Listen Lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855, 450 free. I did some more reading to try to answer Conan's questions, and he's calmed down now a little bit.
But you haven't. I've been calm the whole show.
You've been yelling at me,
You're the
sir.
You're the one turning beet purple over here about the
Because you're yelling at me while I'm providing you answers
I am not
out of
yelling
a
at you. I'm not
499-page document.
Are you going to make...
Thank you, Daryl, for going through the document. I didn't even open the silly thing.
Conan, put on your boxing gloves.
Okay, well,
Daryl's telling you,
they're out
put
in the
on
truck.
put on your boxing gloves.
Where Conan's asking questions about nicotine, I'm telling him what the document says, and he's saying, but what about other nicotine? And so...
No. Wait, let's be clear. I'm talking about... What I thought that the law involved is nicotine that is already mixed with the other base components to provide vaping liquid.
They're saying any nicotine that is sold that could be mixed with something to make a vape would fall under this regulation, and they further define on page 32 liquid nicotine that is made or derived from tobacco, separate item, nicotine gel.
Okay, you know what problem this is going to create? It's going to black market it for one thing. So real nicotine is going to go black market. You're going to have to buy it on the Silk Road, and it's going to be 3 times what it is.
What do you
right
mean
now.
real nicotine?
Well, right now,
nicotine that comes from tobacco is not real?
No,
it's artificial.
I was going into the artificial component. It's going to be you're going to have man-made nicotine where it's changing. The actual parameters are changing every time someone creates a new batch.
Synthetic nicotine.
Yeah, and then someone's going to have an overdose and die. But I mean, right now I can buy 100 milliliters of nicotine from Carolina.com, $23.50, and that's what I would mix with my base components.
What are they making that out of?
Right,
it's tobacco.
Yeah.
Okay, then that would be regulated under this regulation, and you were trying to say that it wouldn't be.
No, I was trying to get to the bottom of it. I was asking you if they were
and I said yes, and you kept saying, but no, the stuff that's not already mixed, and I said yes, and you kept raising your voice.
I kept saying, is it just nicotine by itself? And that's what I wanted to know, because that's a problem.
If it's derived from tobacco, or if it's in gel form, then it will wind up being regulated by the Food and Drug a-holes.
All right, Food and Drug a-holes, all you're going to do is you're going to drive this crap underground.
They don't care.
And someone's going to die from this because you're going to have some synthetic nicotine that's going to be developed.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah,
and someone's going to die from this crap. And then they're going to have
Still not making them feel bad, Conan.
Yeah.
Keep going.
They don't care. They don't care.
They don't care.
It's all about the money.
Yeah,
Chris,
it is. It's about protecting Philip Morris and the rest of Big Tobacco.
Well, what else you got for us?
Well, let's see. Where do we leave? Regulating the e-cigarette industry has been in the works for years. The FDA sent its final proposed ruling to the White House for review last fall, and its initial proposal was drafted in 2014. Today's news marks the first time the FDA has successfully regulated products in the e-cigarette category. E-cigarettes and vaporizers have proliferated in recent years, and their popularity amongst young people is a growing concern. Today, according to the CDC, 3 million teens used an e-cigarette last year. Meanwhile, teens who see ads for the products are more likely to start vaping than those who don't. The rising trend even spurred Hawaii to sign a law that raised the smoking age to 21. As CDC Director Tom Friedman said in a statement last year, e-cigarettes are now the most commonly used tobacco product among youth, and the numbers continue to climb. So that's exactly why Big Tobacco wants to squash this.
Yep.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yep.
When
And
you can't hook them young, then sorry, guys, they're not going to be customers for life.
So I am reading a little bit more of this, and there's a very interesting paragraph part here where they talk about comments. They opened this up for public comment, and they've responded to some of the comments. And they say, in addition to the comments specific to this rulemaking that we address in the following paragraphs, we've received many general comments expressing support or opposition to the rule and separate provisions within the rule. These comments express broad policy views and do not address specific points related to the rulemaking. Therefore, these general comments do not require a response. Other comments outside the scope of this rulemaking also have not been addressed.
That means what is in layman's? That means they do not represent you.
No, in layman's term, yes, you do have the right to petition your government for redress of grievance.
But we don't have to read it or even respond to you.
But we have no obligation to respond. And that was actually a U.S. Supreme Court ruling from a little over a decade ago.
Bunch of a-holes for real.
Yeah, so it's more of the same, guys. It's big business colluding with regulatory agencies to protect monopolies, government-sanctioned monopolies, at the cost to small businesses all over the country. And I'd really like to know. And I know, and further in this article, we don't need to go any further, but it talks about the Vapor Technology Association. I'd love to know how big of an industry popped up, out of thin air with vaping technology.
A lot of these, like I said before, a lot of these guys, they're little guys working out of their basement with a dozen people under them, and they're just whipping this stuff out.
And I'm not even talking about the mixers, but I'm talking about the vape shops and
we have
the various companies that make the vaporizers.
Yeah.
Well, no, I buy all my stuff from China. So guess what? Government, U.S. government, you're not going to hurt. You're not going to stop me. I'm just going to buy all this stuff. I'm going to be making my own mixes.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy from other countries. So, and you know what? And everyone else is going to do the same. And the guys who can't figure out how to make their own mixes are going to buy this stuff on Silk Road. They're going to buy it underground. And you're not going to you cannot prohibit what people want to do to themselves.
Yep.
This is exactly what the people want. You can't end it. You're a-holes and you need to go away.
Now, Conan, something interesting. You said that you buy all of your stuff from China. If Philip Morris makes their product specifically intended to be sold in China, they don't have to abide by any of these regulations.
Oh, of course not.
There's an exception in these regulations for products that are made by companies in the United States intended for sale outside of the United States.
That's the way it should be, Daryl. America,
yeah.
Well, no, generally, U.S. regulations apply. It doesn't matter where you sell your stuff. We're going to make you abide by whatever. That's how the People's Republic of California operates.
Right.
We don't care where you sell it. You made it in California, you got to put this label that says this product is known to contain cancer. But it's a bottle of water. It doesn't matter. This product is known to contain cancer.
So to me, this whole story was never about, well, it is about, but it's not about. It's not about vaping. It's not about protecting people's lives. It's not about anything. This is a story about crony capitalism and how rebureaucrats, not lawmakers, not the people that are allegedly in Washington to represent you, can wipe out entire industries and protect huge companies and huge monopolies. Huge.
And
just
huge
because,
industries.
Oh, yeah.
I just did a search for how big is e-cig industry, and story from Forbes from 2013 says that e-cig sales surpassed $1 billion. There's an article from the Wall Street Journal that I'm trying to pull up from November of last year saying that e-cig sales have dropped off, that apparently after 5 years of increases, the sales of e-cigs have sharply declined.
Do you know why? Because everyone is buying their product from their buddy or online from other countries. Because they figured out they got a liking to it. They said, oh, this is an e-cig. They try a couple. They buy one. They buy a pack. One of them makes starter packs. Hey, this is a pretty neat idea. And then they start buying all their pieces and components and their own liquids online.
That's what you think. Hold on, let me jump into this. It says growing dissatisfaction among customers, inventory backlogs, new state laws, and rising safety concerns are expected to cut the rate of e-cig growth in half to 57% from its compound annual growth rate of 114% over the past 5 years. The slowdown has been most noticeable among Big Tobacco's cig-alike devices, which look like cigarettes.
With the blue tips.
Sales of those fell 21% and volume dropped 11% during the 12-week period ending October 31st.
Right, so the inferior product is the first to suffer. So if we've got an industry in 2013 that was around $1 billion, I've got a statistic around from 2012 that indicates that the U.S. tobacco industry is somewhere around a $35 billion industry. So you're talking
small potatoes.
Well,
yeah,
that's a size of the pie you don't want to lose if you're Big Tobacco.
Dude, you get killed over money like that.
Right, but Big Tobacco doesn't control all billion of that e-cig thing. Your thoughts are welcome in hour number 3 coming up next, 8:55, 450 free.
Could you use up to $35,000? Whether it's for home improvement, car repairs, paying off taxes, debt consolidation, emergency funds, or any other reason, LoanUS.com can match you with a lender that can offer up to $35,000. Quick, convenient, and completely online. LoanUS.com works with lenders in all 50 states. You can get up to $35,000 as soon as the next day. Visit LoanUS.com now.
LoanUS.com connects you with lenders, but is not a lender or a broker and does not make lending or credit decisions. Loans may not be available for residents of some states. APR, loan term, loan amount, and other loan details may vary. See LoanUS.com for details.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you? Or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom. And with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, May 5th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,283 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $450. Antiwar.com reports Russia's defense ministry has announced its intentions to create 3 new military divisions for its westernmost territory in response to NATO's announcement last week of another 4,000 ground troops to be deployed along the Russian border. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg insists that NATO's deployments were a response to Russia's use of force against Ukraine in 2014, which both happened 2 years ago and has been in a state of ceasefire for well over a year. NATO has used Ukraine as an excuse for repeated buildups along the Russian border, and while Stoltenberg insists that all these troops are purely defensive, Russia is clearly feeling the need to respond after half a dozen such major deployments. Russia has not said where the new troops are to be deployed, but they will likely be in the exclave of Kaliningrad, at least in part, as much of the NATO deployment is along the Polish border with that territory. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice on Wednesday weighed in with a heavy hand on the controversial bathroom bill for transgender persons that was passed by the state of North Carolina earlier this year and may threaten to pull millions of dollars in federal money if the state does not dump the law. After concluding that the controversial measure violates federal anti-discrimination laws, the Justice Department notified North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory in a letter on Wednesday that he has until Monday to abandon the law, according to the Charlotte Observer. The letter states both you and the state of North North Carolina are in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Specifically, the state is engaging in a pattern of practice of discrimination against transgendered state employees. Title VII prohibits the discrimination of employees by employers on the basis of sex, and the letter notes that federal courts and administrative agencies have previously applied that provision to cover transgendered workers. When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a federal lawsuit filed on Wednesday revives lingering questions about the bloodshed at Kent State University, a traumatic event in U.S. history that still holds sway over many who lived through it 46 years ago. The lawsuit, filed by Buffalo attorney Michael Kuzma, asked the Federal Bureau of Investigation to release all records about a mysterious figure in the events of May 4, 1970, when the Ohio National Guard troops shot dead 4 unarmed people and wounded 9 others during a campus protest against the Vietnam War. The deaths inflamed emotions in a country already polarized over the war and left an image seared in the national memory. John Paul Philo's Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph of Marianne Vecchio grieving over the body of victim Jeffrey Miller. The investigation left many who followed the case unsatisfied, and unanswered questions surround a man named Terry Norman. Norman was a student and FBI informant. He carried a handgun and a camera that day, and his precise role has been in dispute ever since. Norman has kept quiet, declining media inquiries over the years. Reuters could not reach him at his last listed telephone number and email address. Howard Means, author of the recently released 67 Shots, Kent State and the End of American Innocence, said Terry Norman is in a sense the second gunman on the grassy knoll. He's been kind of the handy boogeyman or a red herring. The FBI cited privacy protections for not releasing documents about Norman or even confirming that they exist, saying in a statement there would first need to be an overriding public interest among other considerations. Kuzma filed a Freedom of Information Act request last year for all FBI records on Norman, which was denied. Kuzma's lawsuit names the Justice Department, the parent agency of the FBI, as a defendant. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Like most married couples, Dale and Barbara Patterson like to shake things up from time to time. The couple of 12 years says they've been able to keep their relationship spontaneous and interesting by bickering in all sorts of different positions and even different rooms.
There was a while there when our petty nitpicking got pretty predictable. Dale would finish harping on some stupid bullshit first, and before I had time to get a word in, he would just let out a groan, roll over, and fall asleep. Now he really takes his time ripping me a new one over every little thing.
Yeah, we'll just pounce on each other the second we get home from work in the evening. And then just go right back at it in the morning. I mean, sometimes we'll look at each other directly in the eyes when we're having an argument. Other times she turns her back on me and I just scream at her from behind.
We're not exactly shy about doing it in public anymore. Dale gets pretty worked up when there are people around who could be watching or listening.
I still can't believe you forgot.
Not now.
Oh, come on.
I said not now.
Oh,
what?
Don't even.
Don't even what? I asked.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight is Daryl,
Chris,
and Conan.
And Conan, you've got an update for us on a story that we covered when it first happened a little over a year ago.
Yeah, it should have been February of last year.
Yes.
And I know
February of last year. There's a song about February of last year.
Don't sing it.
You've got a boyfriend that looks like a girlfriend that I had. And what bathroom do they use, by the way?
They use a porta potty out in the yard.
Good call.
Because no one has ever had any issue with the porta potty. Everyone just uses it and they just knock.
Single seater.
And you know what? I have a question. When you bring this silly bathroom crap up, Daryl. Transgenders have been walking amongst us forever.
No.
What bathrooms
What's
have
the point?
What bathrooms have they been using all these years, and
The
why is it
one
now
they're comfortable using.
Exactly. And now, why is it a problem now?
Because
people are making a big.
Republicans are scared of something and Democrats are scared of something else.
This is also correct. They're just and there's probably something else going on that we haven't caught. That's going on under the radar that is actually much more important.
Well, I was talking to somebody in North Carolina recently when I was down there for the Libertarian Party of North Carolina State Convention, and a couple of the people in North Carolina were saying that they think that this is sort of the base coat of something else, to where they're like, this isn't the end game. Like they're just like putting this down as primer, so that in a couple of years they can throw out the real thing of whatever the real agenda is.
That's typically how these laws work, just like the e-cig law we were just talking about. I think it's a precursor to what they really want to accomplish, and that is to tax the crap out of it.
Well,
but they got to create the law first, and then they're going to create the penalty for breaking that law.
And it takes a while to get a regulatory agency set up to do that. I would assume that as far as e-cigs go, they could pretty much use the existing framework, and they just expand it and say, okay, now everything with this must have a tax stamp on it. So you buy your bottle of nicotine juice or vape juice, it's going to have a little seal on it, a little tax stamp like everything else.
Yep.
So, Conan, tell us about the guy that was arrested in February of last year.
Okay, we have that video, and we might be able to get a play a couple of seconds, or at least 30 seconds of the guy and what actually took place today, unionleader.com here in New Hampshire.
Well, don't tell us what happened today, but sort of lay the groundwork about why this video even matters.
Well, if I read the article, it'll tell us why this video really matters. Unionleader.com. Court awards $40,000 in damages in Alton, New Hampshire, which is north of us, due to free speech case. Alton, the man who was arrested for disorderly conduct last year at a selectmen's meeting for what one selectman called character assassination, has been awarded $42,500 in damages by a federal court judge.
Let's play the video where we're starting about where this man begins to speak to the selectmen. It appears that there's 3, possibly 4 people sitting at this weird oblong sort of oval table, in addition to the man that's speaking. Camera set up in sort of the corner of a room.
Is it open? Yes. I'm going to start my clock here so I don't get shortchanged in my 5 minutes. My name is Jeffrey Clay, and I'm from Alton. And every time I show up here, it is with my most fervent hope that I'm going to find that you folks have resigned. But you still continue to show an unwillingness to step up to the plate, take responsibility for your poor actions as selectmen, and resign. I'm asking you to do that now. It just takes 2 words. Stand up, admit I take responsibility for all my poor decisions, for my poor actions, for the continued violation of the citizens' rights here in Alton.
Point of the
and
is this a character assassination?
And resign. All you have to do is stand up and say.
So one of the men has stood up and is walking away from the table while the speaker says, then just resign. All you have to do is stand up and say, I resign.
I resign. That would be a good thing for you to do, to say, I resign. You just stand.
So the man that stood up and walked away has walked outside of the room.
That was David Hussey.
I'll take your word for it. And someone else is calling a point of order. This, again, roughly 30 seconds into his allotted 5 minutes of time for public comment.
That's important to note, that the man has been given 5 minutes to talk, and I'm going to ask you later on what he can actually talk about. As long as he's not throwing gavels at the selectmen or, spouting off profanities, what can he actually talk about? Can he just filibuster? Can he just go up there and read?
Technically speaking, for 5 minutes would not be a filibuster. Filibuster would be
but
taking up longer than your allotted time, or just standing and talking to prevent someone else from talking.
It's taking your entire 5 minutes is a way of taking time from everyone else.
There's no one else present.
There is one other guy who shows up afterwards, and I don't know how many other guys show up afterwards in this video, anyways.
So we continue the video.
Stand up and say, I resign.
We have a point of order at this time.
The man that walked outside has now returned into the room and is about to take a seat, and someone is saying that there's a point of order.
It's my understanding.
Have a second on the point
It's my understanding this board does not pertain to Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay. And you
do not
you feel that he's violating the...
Do you or do you not go with Robert's Rules of Order?
Libelous...
You won't answer the question, right?
Yes. Is the board... feel that the...
So they're saying that he's making libelous statements, which is not factual. When you make a statement that is slander, if it's an untrue statement to defame someone's character, libel by definition is in print form.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Most select boards in New Hampshire do not follow Robert's Rules of Order. It's discouraged by the organizations that selectmen work with, that you should not do that.
The New Hampshire legislature uses Mason's Rules of Order, not Robert's.
Right. So while select boards try to keep order, they try not to become, most of them try not to become too stuffy that people's ability to speak and get what's on their mind out is not stifled, and that we don't bog down and hold meetings that go for 3 hours because of point of order. And yeah.
So let's continue this here.
Done is a libelous...
the public needs to hear you do that.
Discussion?
They're just talking over him. They're just making
all in favor of...
They're talking over him. He said, you just stopped my time, or I'm going to stop my time.
Because of the defamatory statements made by Mr. Clay. Say aye.
Defamatory.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Public input's closed.
So they voted unanimously. They
done.
voted unanimously to close public input.
And by the way, and another guy shows up after this, too. So, I mean, I guess they didn't close it for everyone. They just closed it for this guy.
And the one guy that's been walking in and out of the room has walked out of the room again.
In having strong moral principles, moral uprightness.
I love that the guy's just continuing his statement here.
A personal choice.
And
to
I'm going to turn the volume down on this because there's still stuff going on and he's talking, and at some point here the police are going to come into the room and arrest the man.
Right.
And the police, there's a police officer that has now walked into the room and is standing next to the man that's speaking.
We citizens pay the price. You want to take your hands off me, please? Take your hands off me, please.
You've been asked to leave.
Take your hands off me, please.
You've been asked
take
to leave.
Your hands off me, please.
Are you going to stand up and leave?
We citizens, we the citizens pay the price in legal fees for your representation.
This guy's trying to continue his statement. The police officer is pulling his chair
Stand up and
away.
resign now. Alton deserves better. Audacity is defined as boldness.
And I'm going to, again, mute that. The police officer then grabs his radio, looks like he calls for backup.
May I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth whitening appointment.
Oh, may I ask why?
I found a teeth whitener that works in 5 minutes that I can do from home.
Can I ask what it is?
It's called Power Swabs, and it whitens your teeth in 5 minutes, doesn't leave my teeth feeling sensitive, and it's a lot less expensive than visiting the dentist.
Hi, I'm John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs, and if you want to whiten your teeth on average 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days, then try Power Swabs. There's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth and you're done. It removes stains on natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. Try Power Swabs risk-free. Dial 1-800-665-0387. That's 1-800-665-0387. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will be wowed by your new white smile. Try it risk-free and get free shipping and handling today. Dial 1-800-665-0387. That's 1-800-665-0387.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll jump back into the story here of the man, what's his name, this guy that got arrested?
Jeffrey T. Clay, 57 of
Jump back
Alston.
into the story of Jeffrey
Alton.
Clay from Alton, New Hampshire. And the good news for Mr. Clay, who was arrested February of last year. But could you use up to $35,000, whether it's for home repairs, car repairs, pay off some taxes, debt consolidation? Maybe you need emergency funds or for some other reason. Well, LoanUS.com can match you with a lender that can offer up to $35,000. Quick, convenient, and completely online. LoanUS.com works with lenders in all 50 states. You can get up to $35,000 as soon as the next day. Visit LoanUS.com right now. And remember, LoanUS.com connects you with lenders, but it is not a lender or broker and does not make lending or credit decisions. Loans may not be available for residents of some states. APR, loan terms, loan amounts, and other loan details will vary. See LoanUS.com for details.
Jeffrey T. Clay, 57 of Alton, New Hampshire, was arrested approximately 40 seconds into the allotted 5-minute comment period on February 3rd, 2015. After asking all the board members to resign, he claimed that they had taken poor actions as selectmen, made poor decisions, and continued violations of the citizens' rights here in Alton. Selectman David Hussey interrupted Clay and called his remarks character assassination and requested a point of order. Hussey left the room for fewer than 5 seconds, and Police Chief Ryan Heath appeared and arrested Clay after apparently trying to calm him down. Laconia District Judge James Carroll later issued a ruling dismissing the charges, writing that the arrest of Clay is found by the court to be a violation of Clay's First Amendment rights of free speech.
Hear, hear.
And now, Chris, you said that select boards are not required to allow public testimony or public comment.
Yeah, so it's interesting. In New Hampshire, there's a lot of rules around how selectmen have to operate in the public eye.
And selectmen, for point of clarification, if you will, for people that might not be used to the term, is basically what they call the town councils in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Usually, some people describe it as sort of a combination of a mayor plus
mini mayors,
a city council. So it's 3 or 5 people that are the executive branch of government in a New Hampshire town, not a city.
Right.
And they're elected every 2 years?
3 years.
3 years.
3-year terms.
In Pennsylvania, they would be called township supervisors. In other places, it would be a town council. So, there's various terms across the country for what this is, but it's basically the town council.
Yeah. But selectmen are required to meet, and we're required to meet regularly. We're
post notice of the meeting.
We have to post notice no less than 24 hours prior to a meeting. We have to post our minutes, and there are certain cases where you can hold a closed meeting, but those are very restricted by New Hampshire RSA 91A, and that is basically
is being amended. Some of the stuff related to minutes of non-public session is being amended. I know there's a lot of statutes going through the legislature this year, so look for those later this year once they go into effect.
Amended to not be private or to be more private?
Well, I can talk a little bit about that process too, but we have to meet in public, but we set our own rules. So if we decide that we're going to hold our meeting, we're going to go through, we're going to pay the bills, we're going to look at timesheets, we're going to do all the business that we need to do, and we're not going to have a public comment session, we don't have to.
Now, what if a resident steps up and says, "Hey, well, hold on now, you can't do that"?
Then a crankier select board, I guess, could say, call our offices and ask to be put on the agenda. But in most cases, people want to come and they want to talk, and they're going to be heard. That's how most select boards. This guy just happened to say some things that were unpopular, and it seems like
he really didn't say anything how to fix the issue. He just said, "You guys need to resign. You're not doing us any favors. Resign."
Right,
resign,
and
resign.
maybe he's shown up for 20 consecutive meetings explaining to them what the problems are.
And actually, yes, he has. Yes, he has done that. Just that. So we didn't get there actually see, because I don't know where this guy is coming from.
Well, I do a little bit, because it's kind of buried in the article, but it is down there. His reference remarked, in part, his belief that the board had violated New Hampshire's right to know law. That's the 91A I referred to, by holding workshop sessions at odd hours of the day and making decisions during them that were not transparent. So if 2 selectmen, if you have a board of 3 and 2 of them get together at a party and they talk about, we really ought to replace the road grader.
That's unethical?
Or
No, what that is, that's an illegal meeting.
Right.
It's an illegal meeting subject to FOIA request. And me and Chris were having lunch at a restaurant here in Keene a little over a year ago.
And you started talking politics, and Chris was like, no, you can't go there. You're going to get in trouble.
No, I'm not a selectman in his town, but another selectman happened to have been at the restaurant and came over to say hi. And so then I jokingly told Chris afterwards, I was like, I'm going to have to file a 91A request to find out about this illegal meeting that was held not only unannounced, but not even in the municipality where you're a selectman.
Yeah. What you guys need to do is share your information. Get one of those tracking apps on your phones so you all know where each other are. So when you go to the shopping center, you know
I'll tell you,
not to bump in with your buddy.
The local government organization that we work with, I mean, that's what most of the education with selectmen around is, making sure you do not violate 91A. And we have to publish minutes. Now, can we talk about things that are sensitive that shouldn't be said in a public meeting? Absolutely. You can go into what's either called executive session or a non-public meeting, and you can discuss things, but they have to do with 5 examples, and I can't remember them all, but it's hiring and firing. It can have to do with someone's reputation. It can have to do with terrorism or national lawsuits or legal actions involving the town. But if I hold one of those meetings, then unless I vote, the board votes to seal the minutes of that meeting, those minutes have to be provided within 72 hours, just like any other meeting.
Right. So these guys, they actually offered a 5-minute allotted time speaking, and they
set the rules
because they did that. They couldn't go against, and this is why the guy ended up winning, because they
all
actually
right, so let's go to the phones. We've got James calling in from Arizona. James, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thought.
Well, geez, Daryl, I know what it feels like to be that guy. Just calling in to Free Talk Live for a redress of my grievances with you, only to be filibustered and hung up on.
I have not hung up on you, but if you don't start talking about something, I will.
Right on. I'll be happy to hold since you...
All right. I will put you on hold since that's what you've asked for. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450 free. And if you do call in, actually get to your point. Don't complain about being on hold. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. Do you love your mom? Well, if you do, Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, and if you don't, well, Mother's Day is still coming up on Sunday. But if you even tolerate your mom, even the least little bit, you need to show her how much you like her or love her, depending on what your emotion is towards your mother. And one way that you can do that is with the delicious Sherry's Berries that she will absolutely love. These things are huge, they're fresh, they're juicy, and they're delicious. And you get to pick the delivery date. So you want mom to get these on Saturday instead of Sunday, get them there a day early, you can do that. You want her to get these things Sunday, you can do that too. Head over to Sherry's Berries. That's berries.com, berries.com. Click on the microphone in the top right corner. Type in code FTL, as in Free Talk Live. You can get berries starting at $19.99, or you can double the amount of berries for just $10 more. This is an exclusive offer for Free Talk Live listeners. Go to berries.com, click on the microphone in the top right-hand corner, and type in code FTL.
So we've got James from Arizona on hold. He requested to go back on hold because he's trying to prove a point. But you know what? James called in a couple of weeks ago, and he teased this question for Conan. And he's never gotten around to it because either someone hangs up on him or he gets out of line and he starts asking, James, you go off the rails, man. You just come on and you just poke fun at everybody. If you've got a question, and I'm sure that you do, just get to it and I'll try to answer it. I can't wait. James, tell me what you got.
Interrupt because all that BS which you just spoke of is making me mad and angry, and I can't stand BS. It's a form of lying, Conan, and I do not like to be lied to, and I will lose my temper.
I'm not lying to you, man. I want to know the question.
If you want to repose the question I had to you so that you want to hash it out, be my guest.
I've never heard the question. I'm waiting for the question.
Could you repeat it for us?
Well, I happen to have a very good memory, believe it or not, and I can't remember what the question's bugging you that I asked that you can't remember what I asked.
Okay.
Anyway, may I speak to Daryl
so
real quickly?
go ahead and talk to Daryl. No, talk to Daryl.
May I speak to Daryl quickly, and then I should like to come back to you, and because I do have a question for you, Conan.
Go ahead and ask Conan your question.
Anyway, basically, Daryl W. Perry, I should like to mention that it is you that banned me from sitting when you're in the first chair. You weren't going to take my calls. That's from you 2 years ago, and I had only just literally started to call Free Talk Live. And it had to do with you saying that I wanted to nuke the Middle East. And I know that because you're so self-righteously anti-war, not to mention you have a megalomaniac complex, Mr. I want to change the world. You hated me from day one, even though I've never said I want to bomb the Middle East or bomb Muslims like, again, you attribute it to me. Those are sick and despicable thoughts, but I know that because you're not really a minister, you're not going to say you're sorry for having said that about me. So I'm done with you as far as that goes, Daryl. Thanks for taking me on so far. Conan, I'm calling to question your authority, not to mention sanity, because you once kind of couldn't say to me, 9/11 was not an inside job, because maybe 15 years from now, somebody will come out and tell the truth about 9/11 being an inside job.
That's typically how these things work. Someone on their deathbed
it's okay. One more thing, and I'll let you talk. It's been 15 years since the maybe inside job or not inside job has occurred. Now, a rational human being would admit that it would take like thousands and thousands and thousands of people to cover this thing up.
Not necessarily.
The worst crime in history.
No, it wouldn't.
If it is not what the 9/11 Commission report said, who did it.
How many Manhattan Project, how many people actually knew that there were experiments and there was engineering being done on the atom bomb? How many people actually knew that of the 100,000 people who were working on it? Prime example.
I'll give you one name that matters. Stalin. Before Truman ordered the dropping of the bombs that were made in New Mexico, Stalin already knew we had them.
Okay, that's one guy.
What is your point?
My point is
9/11 was you didn't answer my question. You obfuscated.
No, you're talking about examples. 100,000 plus people were working on the atom bomb, and none of them knew it. None of them knew it. There might have been a dozen people who actually knew the bomb was being produced.
I get your point. Up until the point that they actually produced
Correct.
the bombs,
Correct.
Nobody knew what they were making, because I get that. But that's called a false analogy. Nice try, Conan.
All right.
I thought it was a pretty good one,
Yep.
but that's all right. Come on, James.
What's that?
Oh, this is Chris. I'm just interjecting myself.
I
thought Conan's point was pretty good.
I have a hard time telling the difference between Chris and Conan. I will never have a problem noticing that. I'm trying to lay off on you, Daryl, seeing as I don't consider you a minister, and I don't.
You don't consider me a human being, James. Thank you for the call.
When's James going to call up and have something to bash me about? That's what I want to know. I mean,
you mean old gray hair, old gray head,
old gray beard? Thank you, LRN chat room. I love that one.
So, Conan, is there anything else on this Alton situation?
Let me go back to that article. I'll tell you what he did. So he got
being
Clay,
Mr. Clay
from Alton, New Hampshire. He got the original ruling dismissed.
The original ruling was an arrest for disorderly conduct, I believe.
I know that it was a free speech and a violation of his First Amendment rights.
Yep.
I don't know what they were actually charging him with, but with the help of the ACLU, Clay pursued a damage settlement based on his civil rights on Monday with the aid of the American Civil Liberties Union of New Hampshire and attorney Jared Bedrick of Bedrick Law Offices. The town and Clay agreed to pay $30,000 in damages to Clay, $11,500 to the ACLU New Hampshire, and $917 to Bedrick. The ruling was issued by the U.S. District Court in Concord. The town's attorney, Andrew B. Livernois, could not be reached for comment. The ACLU's Gilles Bissonnette said Clay's victory over the town's charge and the damages awarded to him this week show that as town officials, selectmen must be able to deal with criticism, even harsh words. Our public officials have to tolerate harsh criticisms, Bissonnette said. If you watched the video, and which we did in the beginning or a couple segments ago, his remarks, while stern, were completely peaceful.
And his comments were, you should just resign. All you have to do is stand up, apologize for what you've done, and say, I resign.
And now, so Chris, I didn't want to get into any details, but have you, as a selectman, run into any harsh criticism that just you went home and you were just a little tear in your eye?
No, not really. I mean, it's this wasn't so much about. I understand completely where the guy was coming from, because if these guys were holding meetings that weren't available to the public, they were absolutely breaking the law.
Right.
And you just cannot do that. I think that's the biggest thing, that we worry a lot about that. We make sure that what we're doing is completely on board because we want to run a very open board. You want to be transparent. You want to not be the guy who's accused of doing something behind the public's back.
Correct.
Just not the right way to do it.
You're just a king, just a dictator king when it gets to that level. And by the way, even though these things are open, in a lot of cases that's kind of what it is anyway. Especially the big towns here like Keene, where you got city councilmen, 15 of them, or 14 is it 14 in the mayor or 15 in the mayor?
15 plus a mayor plus the city clerk, the city attorney, and the city manager.
Clay said he is glad the case has finally been settled. He's planning to begin attending all selectmen meetings again. Good work, Clay. It's too bad.
I wonder how long until he gets arrested again for telling these people that they should resign. We might talk about that in the closing moments here on Free Talk Live, 855 450 free.
Could you use up to $35,000? No need to shop around for loans anymore. LoanUS.com is a convenient online way to connect with a lender based on your unique background and provide you a loan of up to $35,000. And LoanUS.com works with lenders in all 50 states. Use the loan to pay for emergency expenses, medical bills, debt consolidation, home improvement, large purchases, and even taxes.
LoanUS.com connects you with lenders, but is not a lender or a broker and does not make lending or credit decisions. Loans may not be available for residents of some states. APR, loan term, loan amount, and other loan details may vary. See LoanUS.com for details.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems, the right way, the first time, so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Thursday, gold is up $3 at $1,283 per ounce. Silver is 20 cents higher at $17.60 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $447 US. Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been helping customers buy and sell precious metals for nearly 40 years. Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Still time for you and your thoughts here in the closing moments. In studio tonight, it's Daryl,
Chris,
and Conan.
And, we've, I think, been sort of teasing this a little bit for about a month or so. Facebook apparently is becoming less personal, and Mark Zuckerberg is not happy. Zuckerberg's sad.
Aww.
Zuckerberg hover over like and then wait for the 5 little things to come up and then select frowny face. That's how Mark Zuckerberg is feeling right now. Because Mark and the people at the NSA and whatever other government agencies that mine your data off of Facebook, they're not happy that you're not sharing personal information as much as you used to.
I thought we did talk about this. Maybe we only talked about it briefly?
I think we mentioned that we were going to talk about it, but we didn't actually wind up talking about it.
He wants it all.
Facebook is terrified about what they consider a disturbing trend about people sharing information about themselves less and less. People are still posting plenty of updates on the site, according to a new report from The Information, but an increasing number of those are about the outside world or links to other sites. That is probably happening because people have more and more connections, many of them from long ago in their lives, and they don't want to see all of their data shared with people from long ago.
That's basically what my feed is. It's nothing but news articles.
But
reposted
and you know what? I'm thinking about actually what's going on in my friends' minds. So either they're linking me news articles, or when it is something that is personal to them, it's just a picture with no description. It's just a picture, or I think we've come into a certain mindset where we kind of, if it's my friends, they don't really have to say a whole lot about the picture of their kid. It's just like a picture of the kid, and I kind of go from there. And so it is personal information, but there's no description.
Right. And the other thing is it's my news feed, at least, and open. This is probably, if anybody looks at what I post too, I think it's probably up to 90-95% reposted stuff.
Shares.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that's a really good meme. I'm going to share that.
Do you have rules on how many links, likes, or shares you can put out there during the week? Because I will only save it for the really, really good ones. So I won't share anything. I might share something once a month. I might do 1 like a week.
So that's a personal thing.
That's a personal
limit,
deterrent to keep me from just spamming the world with with nonsense.
I try to keep it pertinent, and I think there's a lot of stuff that does come across, but it is back in the day. To go back to the early days. I mean, that's when we did
MySpace.
Actually. Yeah, but after MySpace, early days of Facebook, we did actually post things. We wrote down thoughts, or we post even before you could post a picture. That was difficult to do, but you type something, you shared your thoughts, or you asked what was going on, and now we just seem to be in this sort of a cycle of recycling, and I think Zuckerberg ought to be really concerned about that, because after a while it just becomes really pointless to watch.
And it is worrying for Facebook because of a phenomenon that they call context collapse, that is seeing people share less intimate information and instead move to newer and smaller sites like Snapchat or Instagram to do that. Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, has been encouraging staff to come up with new ways of encouraging personal sharing, according to Bloomberg. Several of the recent additions to Facebook's features are thought to have been a result of that push. The On This Day feature seeks to bring up memories from the same day in previous years, and so to encourage people to share nostalgic updates about themselves. The site has also taken to reminding people about special occasions like Mother's Day so that people post about their relationships, and then they probably also create some things. What was the thing they created a few weeks ago? Siblings Day?
I don't even know, but I know that...
To where, like, I saw people posting about it, and I was like, I've never heard of this thing before.
I know that if he could... This is just like big tobacco. If Zuckerberg could get away with it, he would be creating laws, lobbying D.C. right now, and I'm sure that he is in his own way, to run out of town the Instagrams and the other social media companies out there.
And Facebook has added live streaming to their app to where you can now stream video from your phone to your Facebook page.
Let me go all Conan and be a little conspiracy minded. What if the future of Facebook is so tied to our national intelligence organizations?
Oh, so they're
going
to help him. They're going to be like, "Wait, Zuckerman, what can we do to help you make Facebook bigger?"
No. They're going to him going, "You've got to fix this. This has to be fixed right now. We are getting nowhere near the data we used to." And perhaps the U.S. government is actually Facebook's largest client.
Could be.
Could be. Because we know that for things like Facebook and these other social networking sites that you don't pay a fee for, the thing, Facebook is not the product. You are the product.
That's right. You're the buyer.
Facebook is, they're the thing that's selling you, and it's a question of who are they selling you to?
They're the gateway.
Right. And that's
Let's go back to the phones.
Facebook is a gateway drug.
We've got Mike in Nevada listening to KTOX. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I got to make it clear.
Back off your phone just a hair. You are way loud.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I dialed 800 instead of 855. I got a free, a text phone line.
Yeah, 855-450-3733. I made that mistake one time myself.
You got some sex toys coming your way?
Listeners, dial 800 and the same number, okay?
Yep, don't do that. It's 855.
Yeah, 855, not 1-800. That's a sex hot, whatever. So, anyways, that guy that called in about last 3 or 4 calls, approaching all you guys, Conan, he sounded like a whack job.
Oh no!
He wanted a confrontation, and
wait, I sounded like a whack job, or he
no,
does?
He's saying the caller.
Yeah, James from Arizona. We don't know what direction. We don't know where his biases stand. He might just be a
James,
troll.
Come out to my address, and I'll kick your ass.
Only if it's consensual combat, hopefully.
And you're wearing boxing gloves, and you upload it to YouTube after you're done.
I'm a retired MP, and no problem.
Okay. I'll be waiting for it. I'll be looking forward to it.
Mike, thanks for the call. Conan, you've got a movie of the week.
I do, and I've had a movie week for 3 weeks because I watched it 3 weeks ago. We're talking about Mad Max Fury Road. IMDb gives it an 8.1 stars out of 10. I really like this one. And, the older I get, the harder it is for me to enjoy movies. A lot of times I'm watching anything and I'm like playing a game.
Right.
On the opposite console or the opposite terminal. And because I've seen it all. I've seen it all. And this Mad Max Fury Road is definitely was built, shaped, created, directed and it's by the same guy. He does all the other Mad Maxes. Let me get his name real quick, the director. It is shaped in the same mold, but they just took it to the next level. It is all
the same mold as what?
All the other Mad Maxes, 1, 2, and 3, Mad Max.
I don't think I've ever actually seen. I may have
Mad
seen
Max,
parts of them,
and then the Road Warrior, and then Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Correct.
Right.
And they're all silly. They've got their outstanding.
That's some good action.
They're
Adam.
outstanding characters that are just otherworldly, and they just couldn't work. And of course, the big thing is that it's always, especially my dad, just
Mel Gibson, right?
No, yeah. But no, the fact that they are out of water and gasoline, and yet what do you see them do in the entire show? Is they're driving around in their vehicles, and there's just unlimited gasoline, so it doesn't make sense. It's Mad Max. It doesn't make sense, but it's so much fun. They took it to the next level. They got rock and roll. They got metal, and they got Tom Hardy in it. You know, it's like my favorite actor. Like
who's Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy is.
That's what I said.
He's an Englishman. I think he's English. He's playing in everything these days. He was in. I don't even know.
That thing with that girl who was in that other movie?
The thing with the guy, yeah.
He's in everything.
Okay.
He's in everything. He's kind of
He's in Game of Thrones?
Not yet.
Better Call Saul?
Not yet.
Okay, those are the shows I watch.
He's definitely able to take on different roles, and he brings his Tom Hardy persona to the picture.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, but some of the listeners do. The big problem is, even though he was like cast as like the guy, Charlize Theron took it, so it's almost turned into a. I mean, you can make an argument.
Okay, well, she's super hot.
This is a real pro-feminist piece, and you know what? I'm not even mad about that.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was great, guys. Watch it, Mad Max Fury Road.
Apparently, this Tom Hardy guy was in Black Hawk Down.
Yeah,
this is Free Talk Live. We'll be back tomorrow online. In the meantime, at freetalklive.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
If you want to move to the Free State and you're looking for some real estate.
Oof. I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a Liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State. Or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure.